so here I am again with this time around my finished fretboard, all sanded and radiused. Not much to say about this step. I have this little 16-inch radius gauge here. I don't know if you can see it correctly on camera, but the fretboard is now nice and radius to this particular radius here. So again, not much to say about this step. I did use my homemade radius block here that ebony dust kind of did penetrate on the wood. I don't know how it does that, but anyway, so I use this block. Check out my other video if you want to see how I made this. And it was just a matter of actually sanding the fretboard. So I did clamp the guitar somehow with some kind of a rail on the side to make sure that I was sanding in the right direction, because I didn't want to freehand this because it would probably not be good. So everything went smooth and no big deal here. Like I said, it took about 2.5 or 3 hours for each, so it takes a pretty long time to sand those fretboards. I did use some chalk to put on the fretboard to make to be able to see my progression through the sanding. And after a while, everything was all in smooth and the right radius on both guitars. So the other thing I used was this little tape here. This is just some standard masking tape, but of the delicate surface type. Costs a little more than standard masking tape, but nowhere as much as what they charge for on the luthier website. So pretty neat stuff, actually. Just basic masking tape, but doesn't stick very hard. So I put that on the top, like you saw earlier, to protect the top while sanding, because this ebony dust can be pretty nasty. So it protected my tops. I did some light sanding after that. I will maybe need a little more sanding down the road before finishing, but really not much at this point. The guitars are pretty much done in terms of construction and sanding for the whole thing. I will do one last sanding all over with 200 grit before finishing, but not much more than that at this point. So again, really nice, pretty happy about it. Turned out some of my slots were probably too shallow to begin with, because after sanding they were definitely not deep enough for. I do have a little fret wire piece that where I removed the tangs to be able to check the depth of the slots, which is pretty important because before putting the fret in. So I did have to redo some of the slots pretty carefully, particularly on those frets down here over the body, protecting the body before. So I was not cutting through the body using the saw like you saw me do. You need to be pretty careful with those, because it's really close to the top of the guitar, and at this point those tops are kind of really fragile, and a little dent could cause you some nightmares there. So I was pretty careful about that, did not ding anything or any problems. So I redid all the slots that needed some more depth. Everything is now very good. So my next step will be putting the frets on those slots. So and first, because I have some fret wire, some straight fret wire like that, I will have to radius those frets before to match the radius on the fretboard. So my next step will actually be building a little jig to radius those frets. You can go on and buy those, but one more time, it's pretty cheap to make one and kind of easy. You'll see on my next video. So I will radius those frets and then hammer those down in the fret slots and glue those and everything. So this will be my next video, so stay tuned if you want to see that. At this point, the guitars are beginning to look pretty much like a guitar. I can actually see it. All it needs now are the frets, the bridge, and obviously the tuners, and then the strings, and it will be done. So really nice to be at this point. I'm really looking forward to finishing those guitars. It's been a long time since I started working on those, but now I'm at the point where I can see where I will be done. So it's it's pretty cool to be there. So stay tuned for my next step about fretboard radiusing and actually putting down the frets on those boards.